Hello, all. So, today's topic, which is about raising your vibration, ended up being so long that we had to break it into two parts to make it easier for you to digest. So, we have it in two parts. This is the first part, and the second part will be released perhaps in another few days or a week. Also, we had a few issues with audio quality I noticed when I was replaying it, so please bear with us. There's nothing we can do to fix that from this point, but if you have to turn your volume up a little bit, that might be helpful. I have fixed it on this end, so our next recording should be better than ever. All right, thank you. Welcome back to Aware and Awake. I am Steve Lennon,
I'm Morgan Harem.
and today's topic is how to raise your vibration, how to raise your resonance level, and feel better and have a more fulfilling and joyful life. So let's get into it. All right, we're going to start by talking about something you're all very familiar with, but might not be as familiar with as you think. So, yoga. What's
Yeah,
yoga actually mean?
yoga. So most of us think about it as the physical postures, right? That most of us have been to a yoga class, and you do these stretches, and that's just 1/8 of the practice. So I want to talk about the 8 limbs of yoga. The 8 limbs starts with the yamas. These are outward ethics, like not stealing, not harming. And then you have niyamas. These are the internal practices. An example of a niyama is saucha. Saucha is purity. So watching and being mindful about what you're consuming, not just food, but also what you're putting into your mind. What media are you taking in? Practicing contentment. And then you've got the asana. So once you're treating everybody else and the environment well, and then you're doing that contentment and purity, and then you get to the physical postures. So
Okay, so the
that's
asana is what people think yoga is, right? Because
right.
that's like just going to yoga, you do physical postures and you leave. That's just one of the 8 pieces of yoga.
Right.
Okay.
So now asana is number 3. Number 4 is pranayama. This is the breath energy work. We're gonna dive a little more deeply into that in a few minutes. So I'm just gonna breeze over that one. And then you've got pratyahara. Pratyahara is bringing your attention and your senses inwards. So most of the day we're out and we're seeing the environment and we're interacting externally, right? This is where we are focusing inwards. So,
Right.
how do I think? How do I feel inside? What are the sensations in my body? Then you've got dharana. Dharana is a one single point of focus. So, this could be an activity. Like, I get a one point of focus when I'm snowboarding, or if I'm drawing, right? So, but we can choose anything to be that single point of focus. It could be the space between your eyebrows and feeling that sensation there.
Ah, okay.
When you have that one point of focus, that leads into the next limb of yoga, which is dhyana. This is meditation. So we'll talk a little bit about this. Meditation is that absorption, right?
Right. So you're stilling the mind, and there are many different kinds of meditation, but essentially you're taking in a meditation practice, you're taking a moment to yourself. You're going to a quiet place and you're stilling your mind. And they have meditations that use mantras like transcendental or bhakti. Uh, they have Monroe Institute uses binaural beats to help you essentially stimulate a deeper experience within meditation by synchronizing the right and left hemispheres of your brain.
And the binaural beats are being studied now by like Harvard and Yale, and they're finding that people with anxiety or sleep issues, or that stuff's just going away if they get the right binaural beat. I'm not sure how they figure that out, but they do.
Right. There's something to that where they're almost like prescribing a certain binaural beat for each person to help them deal with their anxiety and reduce it by synchronizing the hemispheres of their brain. So it's a fascinating time to be alive and to learn about this stuff. The
And
next
then
one is go ahead.
yeah, then you got mindfulness meditation. This is like just being aware of the sensations in your body, the sounds in the environment you're in, the thoughts you're having, your breath. And as you're aware of that, you're accepting whatever comes up. And
Right.
as that happens, it's fun because if you can stick with that long enough, you get to that absorption level, that deeper state of meditation.
Right, because initially your mind's turning, right? A lot of people say, I can't meditate. Well, a lot of times they just don't sit down long enough and let their mind finish churning, and if you just observe your thoughts, they'll eventually drift away. You can imagine them being like clouds, and you can let them blow across the sky or disappear. But ultimately, if you sit there long enough, your mind will still itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. So the last one is prayer, which is like when you meditate and you're asking for something, either for yourself or someone else. Oh, please heal this friend of mine, or please let me have some guidance in this aspect of my life. That's considered prayer, and it's the same brainwave states, but it's really like instead of being empty, you're asking for something from all that is, from whatever you might call, yeah, the divine, the universe, nature, whatever you want to call it, the higher power.
I was raised in Christianity, and I don't feel like prayer was taught properly because I think I stayed in my conscious mind when I was praying, and it was just all these
I
words,
did too.
right?
Yeah.
And so when we talk about prayer being a deeper state of meditation, I feel like it's different than what most of us think prayer is. I feel like it's like um, going actually into a hypnagogic or meditative state, and then you're not just like putting out your Christmas list to God. You're you're like actually like visualizing it and like being grateful for it before it's there,
Yeah.
and knowing, because if you have faith, right, you know it's coming.
Right.
You know it's on the way. It's like putting your order in at the restaurant, right?
Yeah. There's an emotional component to it. So
Yeah.
like, the emotions is they're one of the biggest pieces of your subconscious mind and how it works. So feeling that gratefulness, or feeling that, feeling grateful for what you have, but then, you know asking for something and feeling grateful for it before you even get it, and being thankful, can be a wonderful way to manifest it within your life. You're
Mm-hmm.
right, we weren't taught prayer in the way that we understand it now. This world works in different ways than we thought growing up, and perhaps that'll resonate with some of you as well. So yeah, you want to be in a deeper state when you ask for that help for that other person or for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like with that type of prayer that I was doing as a kid, it was like out of a state of lack. Like, oh, I don't have that horse and I really want that horse, and it was like out in the distance, and that's how I felt it.
Right.
And so it stayed that way.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to come at it from a state of abundance of
Like
I'm provided for in all
and
the
I'm like
wonderful ways.
I'm connected to that horse. If
Right.
that's what I'm praying for. I'm connected to the horse.
Right.
They're already there with me.
Right. You imagine riding the horse. You imagine feeding the horse, taking care of the horse in all the different ways, and being grateful for it, and then it appears in your life.
Yeah. And then the last limb of yoga, samadhi. This is the bliss state. So you go through the other 7 limbs and you're working your way deeper. The asana leads to the pranayama, which leads to pratyahara. So each one's building, and then you reach that bliss state, which again, this is what we're getting at with this episode: how to raise your vibration, how to be in the bliss state. Well, the secret is that you already are that, but you are using these practices to get back to it.
Right. What's the secret sauce to get in that bliss state? Some of you may have already felt that. I mean, I know I felt it at times in my life. It's not my regular default though, and I would love for it to be there. But that's why this is a journey, right? And so that bliss state, the more you do these practices that we're going to describe today, and the more you do these activities and changes within your life, the more you're going to reach that bliss state. So keep that in mind as we go through the rest of the episode today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that brings us down to breath work. Let's talk about breath work a little bit. What do we have to say about that?
So one thing.
Start with something easy.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we can all do, unless we have really bad allergies or we've got a cold or something, is nasal breathing. So when we're just in and out through the nose, we are in and out through the nose will bring you or keep you in a parasympathetic state, versus mouth breathing is stimulating. It's what we do when we're running or fighting. We're like in really heavy physical situations.
Right. So nasal breathing will keep you in that rest and relaxed state more. Mouth breathing puts you more in that stimulated state. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that might be mouth breathers when you're sleeping, I know some people have found some success with mouth taping. It might be uncomfortable at first, but if that's something that resonates with you or feels like something you might want to look into mouth taping because it's a way to basically gently block your mouth with something that can be easily taken off. And then it kind of makes you breathe through your nose. So that at least for 8 hours of the day, when you're not really conscious, you're breathing through your nose and you're getting that better sleep because you're in parasympathetic mode through that nasal breath.
My brother made me he made me paranoid that there would be spiders crawling into my mouth at night. So I just got into the habit of keeping my mouth clamped shut.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever works for you. But if you have your mouth shut and you're breathing through your nose for those 8 hours of sleep, or however many hours of sleep you get, that can be really healthy for you. The breathing through your nose also humidifies the air. It does a number of things to prepare you, like prepare your mind and body for just a more gentle experience. So
Yeah, it also helps the temperature of the breath become just right for your lungs.
right, it warms it up
It
a little
filters
more
the
because it's
air a
going
little
up
bit.
and then down. Right.
Filters it, and then there's some gas that's produced. I can't remember the name of it. You might know it. There's a gas that's produced when you breathe through your
I remember
nose.
hearing about this, but I don't know it, and we will put this in the comments because we don't do any cut scenes, so we're not going to look it up right now. But we'll put it in the comments. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there is something that it adds to your breath as you breathe in, which is good for you.
Starts with an N.
Okay.
Oh well. Okay. So to stay in or get deeper into parasympathetic, because sometimes we get amped up, right? 4-1-7. So you're inhaling for 4, holding for 1, and exhaling for 7. Or if you just want to be simple about it, all you got to do is make your exhalations longer than your inhalations.
Right, which will tell your mind and body to go into parasympathetic, which is that rest, relax, digest, procreate mode that you want to be in. That's the opposite of the sympathetic, where you're in fight or flight and all those other things.
That breath pattern will actually slow your heart rate and reduce your blood pressure a little bit.
So 4-1-7. Let's do a little practice. 4-1-7. We're gonna do it together. Ready? So we'll just
inhaling for 4.
Inhaling for 4.
3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I did it. I feel more calm already.
Good.
So that's a really easy one. If you have just a few minutes at work, or before a doctor's appointment, where when you're between things, try that 4-1-7 breath. Let yourself get back in that relaxed state. It's really good for before you're going to do something critical, like going into an interview or maybe doing a little speech or presentation. Do a little bit of that 4-1-7 breath can really bring you back into that calm state and keep you in parasympathetic, which will allow you to make a better presentation and be more present, because the blood is in the right places. It stays in your mind and your brain. Good.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
You got square breathing. So that is you inhale, hold the breath in, exhale, hold the breath out for the same count. So 4 is a common number.
Okay,
Inhale
so
for
4,
4, hold for 4, exhale for 4.
4, 4. That makes a square.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
if that's too hard to hold the lungs empty, you just do the triangular breath. You skip the holding the lungs empty.
Okay, so you would do inhale for 4, hold, exhale for 4, inhale for 4, hold. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you can do, square or a triangle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Equilateral triangle. Remember a little bit of my geometry here. And then there's Nadi Shodhana.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Nadi Shodhana?
Nadi Shodhana.
I know, the Sanskrit's tricky.
Sanskrit, I don't speak it. Yeah.
It's like alternate nostril breathing. So I know you know about the yin and yang channels of the body. So you're inhaling through the left nostril, exhaling through the right, inhaling right, exhaling left. So you're switching, and it cleanses those two channels that wrap around Sushumna.
Right.
It's called Ida and Pingala. And that allows you to balance out yin and yang. It balances parasympathetic and sympathetic drive. So now, instead of being way too relaxed that you're not motivated, or way too amped up, now you're right in this middle space.
This is a nice neutral space to go into, this Nadi Shodhana.
Mm-hmm.
Nadi Shodhana. And my understanding too is that it actually helps with the synchronization of the hemispheres of the brain, because you're actually doing something with your left and right. And when you do that, your brain starts to talk to itself, just like with binaural beats through the Monroe Institute or otherwise. So yeah, And it's also, you can also write with your non-dominant hand. That's another way to match up those. Well, I'm going off topic, but that's another way to synchronize those hemispheres of your brain to get you back into that balance. All right, skull shining breath. This is the next one. How does that go?
Kapalabhati. This one is like you're taking a big breath in and then you're using your abdomen to push little bursts of exhalation out, just like you could with an accordion or a bellows.
Okay.
And so through your nose though. Right. This
Got it.
oxygenates your brain, it boosts your immunity, boosts your digestion, and then it's said to protect your energy and strengthen your aura so that you don't take on stuff from other people.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Especially if you have trouble not taking things on from people that are challenging that are around you. That's a great breath to do. Yeah.
It's energizing. You don't want to do it at the end of the night. And I used to, when I used to get that like afternoon tiredness, because I was going all day and I kind of ran out of steam, I would do that to like recharge.
Okay, so that can charge you up.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that one's like a stimulating breath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. So now you have one that relaxes you. You have some that relax you. You have some that stimulate you. You have some that put you back into neutral and balance you out. So now you have multiple different breaths. And we're just glossing over these really quickly. So like, if you want to know how to do these, just go on the internet, look at YouTube, find somebody that actually is, a breathwork expert in one of these that resonates with you or calls to you, and you can look that up and figure that out. We're trying to give a broad view of what's possible to use breathwork.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got one that holotropic.
So holotropic breathwork is really putting you. It's kind of putting you in a stimulation cycle and then bringing you into a relaxation cycle. So if any of you are familiar with Wim Hof, he's that guy, that Dutch guy who does breathwork, meditation, and cold exposure. And I went to one of his training camps in 2019, and I learned how to do holotropic breathwork. And I had some huge releases from that. And even since then, just last week actually, I had a really deep breathwork. So what I found is holotropic breathwork puts me in a very deep state. So if I want to meditate and I want to like just start my meditation in a deep spot, I'll do holotropic breathwork first because it just charges me up and puts me in that wonderful deep state, that expansive state. So this is more like long, slow inhale and a quick exhale. And so it puts you into sympathetic mode, which is that fight or flight. But then you do these breath holds because you're oxygenating your blood 100%. And as you breathe for like 2 minutes doing that sympathetic breath work, stimulation, then you do a breath hold. So and after you exhale, when you're at that neutral standpoint of your breath, you're not breathing everything out. You're just breathing out to that neutral point, which you'd normally take an in-breath for. You hold there, and sometimes people hold for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And that hold can be really wonderful. That's that relaxation point. So you're stimulating, you're relaxing, and so you're balancing yourself through that yin and yang yet again. Yeah.
Yeah, the yogis say that when you still your breath, you can still your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much easier. I mean, it's just wonderful how deep that can go within just a few minutes of breath work. So breath work can be, if you feel like, hey, Steve and Morgan, I can't meditate, or you're one of those people that says I can't get out of my mind. Breathwork could be just the thing for you to help you still that mind because it really gives you that pizzazz to get there. After a couple rounds of breathwork, you'll be like, wow, my mind is just still on its own and I can just be. So yeah, and I always feel like that raises my energy too. Like not my energy as in like I'm getting stimulated, but my energy as in like I can feel it within my hands as if I'm about to do a Reiki session or something like that. I can really feel a lot of energy rising. And I feel my vibration rising when I do breath work, probably more so than any other practice that I have. And so breath work can be really powerful. Our breath is what keeps us alive, right? And so the different ways of breathing, we have these techniques to put ourselves in different states of being. So these are all wonderful ways to shift yourself into the way that you want to be for that moment. So look up these different ways, find what resonates for you and try it out. It's great. It's a lot of fun. And it's a wonderful way to de-stress and to give yourself some more energy and just give yourself that peace, that depth of meditation experience too, if you're going to meditate right after. Yeah. Good. All right. So let's move on.
Yeah.
What's next?
Listening.
Listening.
We've got you just heard something really cool about listening.
I did hear something cool about listening. So I was listening to a YouTube this morning, and it was Daryl Anka talking about Bashar, the entity that he channels, and he said that listening actually puts us in a higher vibrational state. You know, we like to talk sometimes, but when we're talking, we're not learning anything new. We're just basically regurgitating something about ourselves or about our experience or something we might know. When we're listening, we have a big chance to pull in something new. Even if we're just hearing something we've heard before, we might hear a different intonation or different or there might be some emotion behind it. You can kind of maybe sense something somebody needs or something about them that could help you learn something about yourself or about the world or about how to help in general.
You know, too, with listening, you're putting someone else at the center. Like, you're elevating them above you in
Yes,
that moment.
or at least giving them the spotlight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say elevating them above you because I feel like we're all on the same playing field. We want to keep it as level as possible. You're
Yeah,
giving
well,
them
what
the
do I mean
spot.
by.
You're giving them the spotlight in the moment,
Yeah.
and so that they can speak their mind and feel listened to. And when somebody feels listened to, how does that feel, right? It feels,
Oh, just being listened to can be healing in itself,
yeah.
right?
Sometimes people just want to vent, right? And they don't want solutions. They just want to say, I'm going to just get it out, what happened to them yesterday or whatever it is. So listening can be a wonderful way just to let them get that out and then just, commiserate with them, have empathy. And it can be a wonderful way to walk around this world because you're helping people left and right that way.
Hmm.
So good. So interestingly, in a recent movie that came out, Disclosure, and there's going to be no spoilers here. We're just going to say that there's a message in that movie about listening that feels valuable, and Bashar touched on that too. That there's a message there, and it's meant for everybody to, you know, consider listening when you've been talking quite a bit to people. Consider listening because that could be a higher vibrational state. So listening, good stuff.
Hmm.
All right, let's move on to nature.
Yeah, just getting out. Like, one of the recent therapies that people have come up with is forest therapy. I think it's actually ancient in Japan, but like getting out in nature is.
Forest bathing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like the stress levels, cortisol levels drop, and people just feel at peace, right?
Yeah, you feel more of that oneness, and you feel like I don't know. For me, it's very restorative. We can all look at it with our own personal standpoint, but you're right. When people get out in nature, and sometimes they don't even realize it. Like, just when I go for a walk, I think more clearly, or something. Sometimes I just feel better. It's not necessarily the exercise, although that is a component of it. But if you're just walking down the street, it's different than walking in a park or like a wooded area where you're
Hmm.
actually in the forest. Trees also give off phytoncides and other wonderful things that actually boost our
Terpenes.
terpenes that boost our mood and to make us feel better. So there's a reason why we like to be around trees because they give off things that make us feel better, make us feel less stressed, more in that alpha brainwave state, which is a very wonderful, healthy brainwave state to be in. It's like that daydreamy state where we're feeling really kind of positive, and it's a state you go into right before you go into like the deeper states like theta and delta. And then there's water. So
Yeah.
breaking water, right?
Right. Just, I mean, it can be like water outdoors, right? The lakes, the rivers,
Yeah,
waterfalls, but it can just be taking a shower too. Like, we just let go of negative energy when we're in water.
yeah. It washes you off. It actually clears your energetic field. And then there's also that component of, I think we've mentioned this in a previous episode, but negative ions. When you have breaking water, it creates negative ions, and negative ions also are a mood booster. That's why people like to be at the beach, or they
Hmm.
like to be in the rapids or near a stream or river. Lakes. A placid lake, it's still pleasant, but it's not quite. It does not might not give off as much of the negative ions, but still, water can be very healing because water is a source of life, right?
Hmm.
Just beyond breath, the next thing we need is water, right? And so water is really healing in a lot of ways. So trees, water, and
We are water,
we are water. Yeah, we're what
98%
98%
water.
water. Yeah, so we're water walking around, and so we want to relate with ourselves with other water.
Yeah.
So and then of course nature persists also to not just the flora but also the fauna, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So we're going to talk about animals in a little bit. They are part of nature, but we want to skip that back to that in a short period here. So next thing we want to talk about is service. How does service raise your vibration?
Well, Gosh, it's recognizing that you're part of the whole, right? And so by serving each other, by uplifting each other, the whole, then you're naturally uplifting yourself too,
Yes.
because we're all one. I mean, we look separate, we feel separate, but we're actually not at the deeper level.
Right. Like when I volunteer somewhere, I feel it's a gift to the people I'm helping when I'm volunteering. But then when I leave there, I feel just really good. I feel positive and healthy and just it just feels good to help other people because like Morgan said, we if we are all one, which we are, then we're helping ourselves. We're all helping uplift each other. And so
Mm-hmm.
we if we're all one, we should all join hands and help each other, and that can really raise the vibration too. That's why when there's group activities like group breath work or group meditation, or even this discussion group that we have once a month, that's an in person discussion group. We do like an ohm in the beginning, and you can feel the vibration raising in the room. And so just being around people, being of service and talking to each other, listening, it can really be helpful to raise that vibration. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
service is a wonderful one. And then there's self awareness.
Yeah, self awareness. So when we're it kind of goes back to that, like turning the attention inwards, right? Like if I'm starting to study myself and realize what makes me feel good, what makes me feel icky, right? Like I can gravitate towards the things that help boost me up. That doesn't mean that we just run away from what we're adverse to and avoid the discomfort, but rather it's like, how can I be comfortable with the discomfort, and how can I recharge myself enough each day so that self-awareness helps us stay balanced.
Yes, I agree. Helps you stay balanced. It helps you, it helps you see yourself perhaps a little bit more like other people are seeing you, right? And so you could start to see maybe things and this is a precursor to what we're going to talk about in a little bit, but it's maybe see some things in yourself that you could potentially change for the better. Oh, whenever this happens, I always trigger and I get upset or frustrated. What is that about? Why do I do that? I've done this thousands of times. What if I want to choose differently? How do I do that? And start to go down that road, right? Because like sometimes for some things about with self awareness, it can be an easy thing. Sometimes it can be a more difficult thing. But self awareness is the start of that because you're starting to see this is how I am. This is who I am. This is what I'm putting out in the world, and you can start to see what could be shifted
Right.
in the positive.
And self-awareness allows you to check in too. Like a lot of people, they just burn out because they're externally focused the whole time. But once
Right.
you can look inwards and be like, you know what, I've done a lot and I'm feeling a little tired, it's time to take it easy for an hour or the rest of the day, whatever you need.
Yes, that's putting your own oxygen mask on
Yeah.
before you help the person next to you. If you're beyond capacity, you're actually going to be more of a hindrance than a help. You're going to be, you know, I'm stressed out and I got to call and help somebody. Oh crap, I got to and then you go and call and try to help them and you end up just making more of a mess, right? You have to take that time to recover and restore and then be like I can call you tomorrow and I'll help you then. And then you can actually be a real help,
Right.
right?
Think about like we've all done it and known people that do it where they're like, they offer to make dinner or clean up the house or something, and but they've already been beyond capacity, and then they're all aggravated
Right.
doing it, and then you get in a fight, and
Right,
it's
and they take
like,
it out on you maybe, but really they're over capacity and just didn't recognize it or didn't decide to stop,
yeah, yeah,
right? So, really good message for everybody. I think we could all hear that. We could all use a little bit more of that because it's important to recognize your own battery. When your battery is discharged, it's time to get it charged up before you do anything else because otherwise you're working on fumes.
yeah,
So, all right.
yeah,
So, brings us to self-expression. Yes.
yeah.
But want me to start? I'll
I
start.
do want you to start.
Okay. So self-expression is really it's really being you. We come here with a certain body, right? We're inhabiting this body in this lifetime. We have a mind, we have a brain, we have a certain amount of intelligence, a certain amount of awareness, and so we're here to express ourselves in that beautiful thumbprint that we are. We're all this unique person in the world, and we tend to homogenize ourselves and be like, okay, let's do whatever people expect me to do. Oh, mom expects me to be like this. I'm gonna be like she expects. Well, then we're not singing our heart song, and when we repress ourselves, we get stressed out, we get anxious, and sometimes develop physical symptoms. But when we just step into our full expression, and when we're not hurting anyone and we're expressing ourselves, that can be a really beautiful moment for you, and it's really beautiful for your vibration, and you tend to be an inspiration for other people. So what we found within ourselves and our clients with hypnotherapy is that when we do that, we actually bring in more abundance into our life. We bring positive things into our life. We get rewarded for being ourselves, which is who we came here to be. And so if you came here to be yourself, which is every single one of us, every single one of you, be yourself, because that's not just a gift to you. It's also a gift to everyone around you, because
Mhm.
when you are yourself, you're your best self, and they're going to feel that. They're going to feel inspired. They're going to see you in your best light, and you're just going to be this wonderful person that attracts people to you, and they want to be part of that, and they're going to be like, well, I can be myself too. It's very wonderful and empowering for people to see that, because they're gonna feel permissive to do that themselves. So be yourself. Walk down the street, dancing, do whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're being yourself. You're speaking your true heart song. You're singing your true heart song. You are going to be an inspiration to the world. So do that in whatever way you feel is resonant for you.
Yeah, being your truth is it's one of the yamas actually, satya, truth. It's it's so important. And one thing I wanted to add was that maybe we've been expressing ourselves authentically, but we are adapting and always changing and evolving. And have you ever had anybody that gets mad at you because you've changed from a previous incarnation of who you were, or they're like, wait, you used to hate avocados and now you love them? Like, and it throws them for a loop.
Sure, usually it's a positive thing, but there are sometimes people that are like, they're not good at or used to change. They're not adaptable, and they're like, this is how you used to be. That's what I expect from you. And when I don't get that, it freaks me out, because I feel like I've lost a little bit of control. And you can help somebody through that when that happens, right? You can be there for them, just be a good listener and be like, oh, this is who I am. And this is who I am. It's a journey. So, I'm this is who I am in this moment. And if that scares you, or if that feels weird, that's okay. Just let it be weird. You'll get used to me, and you can say all sorts of things to help them through that moment, or be at least just be there and hear them out, and just be that listener, right? So yeah, it's good. It's like your people are gonna react maybe differently to you, but generally we've seen rewards come from that. The universe, the divine, whatever you call it, God will reward you for being yourself, and so generally you're gonna get the most positive responses that you could imagine when you're just being your own expression. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
even if it feels like, oh, I lost that friend because they didn't like the new version of me. They probably aren't meant to be in your life forever, right? Like it's like when we're expressing our truth and then old friends fall away, well, it's like we're not really matching. The vibrations have shifted.
The vibrations have shifted, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you grow at different rates and your vibrations are at different levels and yours becomes out of resonance with theirs, them falling out of your life probably helps both of you, because they won't feel like left behind, and you won't feel like you're being pulled down by their energy. They're not ready yet, and it's okay to be at either level. They're just not ready yet. Their path is different than yours. Totally okay. And let them shift out of your life. It's okay to, in fact, it's one of the healthiest things you can do is let people go when it's time to let them go, because some people are only meant to be in your life for certain periods of time, helping each other learn lessons through all sorts of different ways, and then parting, taking your parting leave to move on to other things.
Mm-hmm.
People grow at different rates, and that's just how it works. So when we're at a certain rate with somebody, we'll attract them, and then when we get at a dissonance, either they're up here or we're up here, we'll separate, and it's just a natural balance and cycle of the earth. Yeah, really good. So self-expression, great
Mm-hmm.
way to raise your vibration. Following and acting on your passions. This is something Bashar talks about all the time. Follow your greatest excitement. You want to talk about
You should.
that? So, following your greatest excitement, your greatest passion in any moment, can be as simple as oh, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go get a drink of water versus just sitting here. It could be just a simple
I'm gonna have a
decision.
drink of
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna have a drink of water too. So having a drink of water instead of just sitting here talking on the podcast. Yeah.
water.
And so I'm gonna take a drink of water and I'm gonna continue.
It can be right. It doesn't passion. We think of it as like a really charged thing, but that's not necessarily what's meant, right?
It's meant to be just what you would like to do in every moment. And the caveat to that is if it's a fear based, if it's fear based at all, then it's not your greatest excitement. So if it's, oh, I'd like to go pet that person's cat, uh, but I'm afraid of what they'll think, or I'm afraid to ask them. Then if it's fear based, you want to think about that and be like, why am I afraid of that? And then maybe you choose to go do something else and think that's your highest passion. Well, it's not. The petting the cat was your highest passion, but there was a fear blocking you from actually doing it, and so you did Plan B instead, and so you weren't following your highest excitement. So highest excitement sounds very easy in a way. It can be as simple as getting a drink of water. It could be going for a walk. It could be, oh, today I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go to this movie. But again, if there's a fear involved, either perpetuating you, either getting you to do it, or getting in the way of you doing it, that's when you need to pay attention, have some of that self awareness, and be like, oh, I'm using the fear to help my decision in one way or the other, and that fear is really going to stop you from getting your highest excitement in each moment. So that's in a nutshell. That's where it is. If you want more information on that, I highly encourage you to go watch some Bashar videos. Look up Bashar's formula because he sees the formula from outside our perspective of Earth and how Earth works, like nuts and bolts. So go look that up, familiarize yourself with that, and that'll be a much more thorough explanation of how that works.
So speaking of cats, that leads us to the next way to raise our vibration, and that's
Animals!
animals.
Yay!
Yeah, I love animals. And so they're teaching us, right? We can learn lessons, they can be our guides. But gosh, there's a specific instance I wanted to talk about. My friend just shared this with me. It was called Positive Connections.
Positive.
PAW.
Yeah.
Positive. And it was cats that were not rehomable in shelters, and they were getting paired with inmates in this prison. And initially, there's a lot of backlash from the public, like, oh, like the inmates are dangerous. But what ended up happening is the inmates were so in love with their new companion that um, any extra money was meant to that they used to use for cigarettes or whatever was now getting spent on like cat treats and like toys for the cat,
Wow.
and they just like thrived together and had this like really healing bond. And so our animals uh, help us feel good, and they help us realize, oh, I can be happy and content no matter what, right? Like,
It's that unconditional love, right?
yeah.
So animals, I mean, a lot, especially cats and dogs. Animals, you can feel that unconditional. So they're teaching us how to love. They're teaching us, hey, even if you forget to take me out or feed me, I'm still going to love you unconditionally, right? Like, so they're teaching us all the time. It's interesting because like a lot of times it's like I feel like we have a cat, and he teaches us lessons all the time, just like with his little idiosyncrasies of just like, um, you know, oh well, I'll pick up my phone to do some, just look at social media for a few minutes, like Reddit, and it's like that's not really something I want to be doing, and the cat will come up and like bump my arm, and I'm like, thank you for that little break state because I really didn't want to be doing that, and that's like a little trap that I might be in for 20 minutes, right? Looking at Reddit and looking at just doom scrolling is what people call it these days. And so the cat will come up and just bump me, and I'm like, oh, I can play with the cat for a minute, and then I can go off and start doing the things I actually really want to be doing. And so cats can, any animals really can be teachers. They are teachers.
Yeah, another big lesson I just want to share before we move on
Yeah.
is that I've learned from my horse and the cat that um in our local bubble, like all is well most of the time, but us humans get caught up in the news, and so the animals I've had relationship with have taught me to stop stop listening and consuming so much news, because like we get caught up in the drama, and then it's like, oh, the world's terrible, it's a terrible state,
Right.
and but like, yeah, like there are things to be aware of, but like if I can bring my awareness just to this bubble, I can be content and happy and keep
Right.
my vibration high.
Turns out animals don't watch the news. They don't consume the news, and so they help you from not consuming it either. Because
Right.
news is mostly negative. Let's be honest. News is mostly negative because that's what sells the news, right?
Yeah.
It's fear based, and so it's bringing you into that fear based negativity. Animals can pull you out of that by bringing you back into the present. Animals want to be present. They want to play. They want to get fed. They want all the They don't have a. They don't think about what happened 2 minutes ago or what's going to happen in. Well, when they're getting fed, they think about what's going to happen. But they really stay in the present. They help you be in the present too. So animals can really help you bring your mind back into the present and be back into that clear have that clarity of mind to be where you want to be rather than stuck on your phone or whatever, or thinking about the news or the negative things that are happening in the world that are outside of your bubble of control. I mean, think about it. In history, when we really didn't have much news, this kind of worldwide news we have now, especially way back in history, all you knew was what was going on in your village or what was right in front of you. You didn't know about anything else except what people would tell you. And so now we're inundated with all this extra information, and the animals, thankfully, can sense that, it seems like, and they help bring us back to that present moment. So yeah, have spend some time with it. If you don't have an animal, you probably know somebody that has an animal, or you can go spend time at a sanctuary or something like that and just get back in touch with animals. Or go when you go to a park, sometimes you'll see deer, sometimes you'll see birds. You can kind of connect with them in some ways that way too. Animals are wonderful creatures that just help us in this world. Yeah. I'm Steve.
I'm Morgan. Thank you so much for exploring with us today here at Aware and Awake.
While these topics can feel sensitive, they help us reconnect with who you truly are. We encourage you to express yourself genuinely, safely, and in celebration of your uniqueness.
And we all deserve to both give and receive love, so love yourself, love your fellow souls, and love this magical place we call Earth. And if this video resonated with you, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel and share this video with a friend.
We're all in this together, and these simple actions can make a huge difference. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.